Hello everyone, this is Raven. So as a part of the milestones 2 of the project, in this video we'll be covering the analysis component of it. So as a part of this video, we'll see how do we create an analysis tool that runs on the checkbox IO application, in which we'll be implementing the following detections. The long method, which detects any long methods which have 120 lines of code. So if we have any function that is greater than 120 lines, we'll be detecting it. Sync calls, any function which has more than one sync method calls. Message chains of length greater than 3 in a function. The big O, detect any method for a big O greater than 3. So for this, we'll choose an EC2 instance against which we'll be installing a Jenkins server, and then we'll trigger a build for the checkbox.io, which will be doing the analysis part of the code that has been checked in, and it will fail if any of those conditions are not met. So let's quickly run the YAML file. So this YAML file will install the Jenkins server and all. We'll take a quick look at the setup checkbox io.build.yaml file meanwhile. So as a part of this, we'll be installing, we'll make sure that the Python 2 is there in the target box. We'll install the Java 8, which is necessary for the Jenkins server to be installed. And we install the necessary packages, Jenkins, Git, Node.js, npm, which are required to build the project. Then we install the necessary packages. As part of this, we'll install the Jenkins plugins as well, so that the server can pull up the code. And in the final part of this YAML file, we'll be creating a Jenkins job for this checkbox IO application in the Jenkins server. So I'll pause the video for a second while the installation or the configuration goes through. So the installation of the Jenkins server and creating the Jenkins job for the checkbox IO has been done. So we'll quickly pull up the URL for the Jenkins server here. So it will take some time for the build to get into the build queue. Meanwhile, we'll look at the configuration for this job. So if you look at the build command for this application, we do the npm install first. Only after that succeeds, we do an analysis.js, which actually runs through the code, checks for all the conditions that I have mentioned previously. So let's go back to the the build has been completed right now. So if you look at the console logs, the build has been failed. Let's look at the reason for why. So the npm install has been done till now. Then we run the analysis part using the analysis.js, which we have written. So let's see what's the reason for this. So it says for the function load.js templates in the file markdown.js, we see 16 sync calls, which I think is violating the condition. Let's look at the code for it. I think it's said in the markdown.js. As we can see here, we have too many read file syncs in just one function, which is violating the condition. So if we look at the code for the analysis.js, we have four main parameters for each function, which we do the message chain, the number of sync calls in the function, what is the complexity of the function, and then we do the line count as well. So the way we implemented the complexity of the function is we traverse through the node of the function. We look for any first statement, foreign statement, or any while statement if we encounter. Then we loop through the next tree by setting the first node as the first statement, and then we traverse 3 levels down the function, and if we still find a first statement in the 3rd level, we're going to set the big O to true, which is that the complexity of the function has reached more than 3, like order of n cube. So like we do the message chain as well, we increment the message chain length if we encounter a member expression, and then we do the sync calls if we find any method call or any call expression which has sync word in it. So this is how we have implemented the analysis.js part of it, which would detect the 4 things that we have mentioned. So for each function in a file, it's going to print out the parameters of the function. It's going to determine the line count, the number of sync calls it has, the message chain length, the maximum message chain length rather, that function. And the function is below the complexity that we required or not. So this video pretty much sums up the goal. Thank you.